This world has been connected, tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Proud Difficulty video walkthrough. We're in the second sequence of Hollow Bastion, and we're about to solve the library puzzle. In the previous video we had a surprise Riku fight, which I thought I would have put in a separate one, but I didn't. Trying to make the guide as brief as possible so I can get it up and help people. But Riku's stats on the base game, so once again, this is Proud, so they're probably higher. They might even be doubled, if not, 3 times more, who knows. But it says his life was 500, he had 31 strength, and he gives 2000 experience. And apparently the strategy in the book says to keep Riku occupied by sending Goofy and Donald at him by pressing triangle. Because if you don't know, when you press triangle while you're fighting, it tells them to do things. For instance, you can even have it so that they heal you when you press triangle and you can request it. But I think that's in the second game, so don't quote me on that, guys. And it says, while he is occupied, attack him from behind. This strategy is safer than blocking Riku's blows with the guard ability and then counter-attacking. So, he's essentially saying that that's the safest way to fight it, but I'm not too sure. But whatever gets you through is generally the strategy I recommend. So, the puzzle in here is pretty simple, but it can take a while just because it's quite big, and you think you've spotted everything, and sometimes you can easily miss stuff. And all you do is you go around picking out the volumes that don't match the colour, and then you put them in the shelf that matches the colour. A couple of ones that are easy to miss are the ones on the rotating, like, hidden chambers on the plinths. I have no idea what you would call that. It's like a really bizarre, dumb waiter that doesn't go up and down, instead it goes left and right. Like, very strange. Like a rotating cupboard, perhaps. I don't know. And it kind of trolls you too, because there's only one thing you want in it, but it keeps giving you the other things. You'll notice I'm using the Olympus key as well. It is a powerful one. In the previous fight I was using, I believe it was I forget the name of it. It's from Peter Pan's world, I think. From Neverland. We're going to be getting a really good Keyblade from this area called the Divine Rose, and a lot of people have been asking me, am I going to use Oblivion for the rest of the game? And the answer is no. And I'm going to be using the Divine Rose, and the reason for this is simple. For the part of the game we're in, without doing any extra effort, it's the most powerful Keyblade at that stage. It's got good crits, it's got good damage, it's just a really good Keyblade. And aside from, beating some of the bosses and getting the boss-specific Keyblades, or creating new Keyblades like the Ultimate Weapon, there is no weapon in the game that's not magic-specific that is better than it, to my notion. And it wrecks Ansem, it really does. Like, I was fighting him with I think it was the Olympus one, and it was doing no damage, and then I swapped to the Divine Rose, and the buff is just, it's noticeable. And when you notice damage, that's how you know it's good. And I just like how it looks too, it's kind of cool. But there's the button that opens the doorway. There's a little chime telling us we did something good. And I'm probably going to save. There's also a secret bookcase here if you have the book. But it leads to one of the confusing rooms in Hollow Bastion, because there are these areas that are elevators and they take you to different places, but because they all look the damn same, it's very difficult to have any kind of reference as to where you are. And a lot of the times, I don't know if I've covered that place or if I haven't covered that place, so I do tend to get quite lost. But there goes the green book, there goes the hidden shelf, Scooby-Doo style, and there goes the purple book to open, I believe, the last of these secret chambers. And I think the chamber that this opens, if you've played Chain of Memories, is Riku's bedroom. Or it seems like his bedroom is very close to this. Because it seems to be in one of the bookcases. But this leads to the lift stop. And this is the confusing room I mentioned. But let's have a look at the other enemies you're going to be facing. Because the opponents in Hollow Bastion are as follows. There's the Shadows, which are the standard Heartless. There's the soldiers, which are the standard dudes who do the spin attack and the kind of crazy kick. You've got large bodies, you've got red nocturnes, you've got blue rhapsodies and yellow operas. So a whole bunch of little magic bastards. Green Requiem, Air Soldier, Dark Ball, Defender, Wyvern, Wizard, Black Fungus, and then the bosses, which I've already mentioned. So it's quite a diverse range of opponents. I hate how slow these lifts are, and you can't skip them either. You have to watch these animations so much, it's just unnecessary. But in these rooms you'll notice this floating chest. If you use gravity, it'll bring them down, which is pretty clever, I think. You know, it's not quantum theory, but it's still up there. That gives us Osmos G, which is a piece of the gummy ship. Not too sure what it does. I think it might help you grab items in space. And this animation again. It makes me wonder, you know, when they were going back through it, did they not think that this was perhaps a bad idea? It's not showcasing really good graphics. It's not really doing any kind of service to gameplay. It's baffling. Very strange. I mean, look at it. Ugh, not cool. But the Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay trailers just dropped. We've already seen a little gameplay, but this was actual gameplay. There was a lot of stuff happening as opposed to Sora just running around. It looks really good as well. The graphics look fantastic. I hope the frame rate stays up because it seems like there's going to be a ton of enemies on screen and a ton of particles. And the last thing that you want is slow down. Slow down can kill an action game. That being said, there's a couple of mechanics that look very similar to these games, and it kind of saddens me in the respect that I want more precision, I want it to be a tighter system, and I want it to be just make it feel like I'm in control of my attacks rather than, you know, I've got to wait for them to land and then the attacks take over. Because Sora misses when he's locked on, which is something that really irritates me. It's something that is in the new Dark Souls, in Dark Souls 2, but in that it makes sense because the system's trying to punish people for sloppy play. But in this kind of game, the attacks are automatic and you have very little, you know, very little control over them. It's much like the Zelda games with the jump. They made the jump automatic and turned it into a pain in the ass, sometimes in a work of genius, other times. But this room here has several puzzles that you have to do to get pieces of a Heartless door. And they're all simple: light the candles, move the statue, use the Trinity, you know, so on and so forth. And there's your little piece there. And each of them gets you a piece of this door, and once you've collected all of them, you can go through it. You know, pretty simple stuff. There's the fire one, there's another piece. And the lower room in here is quite dangerous, because Heartless spawn, and the Heartless themselves are not too bad. It's just a couple of, I think, large bodies, a couple of the wizards, things like that. But there's also the opportunity of a final mix Heartless spawning, and all it is a soldier, but he's invisible. And you might be thinking, that's probably not that too bad, doesn't sound like it's going to make all that much of a difference. It really does, folks, it really does. He is a ninja, a complete and utter sneaky asshole. It's not funny at all. There are times when I was fighting when I didn't know he existed, and he was there, and I couldn't see him because he's invisible, and I would lock on to thin air. And I was like, what the hell is happening here? I'm locking onto something that's not even moving. So I thought at first it was a lock-on problem. And then later on, I would suddenly take massive damage while I was fighting something. And the only thing in the room that I was fighting was being stunned by my attack, so it didn't make any sense. And then I just realised after a while that I was being beaten up by thin air. So I attacked the lock-on, the invisible lock-on, and lo and behold, I knocked a soldier out of his cloak, and he is the exclusive enemy in this area. He's a soldier that's got a little bit more life and does wicked damage, and the crutch here is he's invisible until you knock him out. And then he runs away and then turns back invisible unless you kill him. And very, very dangerous, because you don't know when it's there. You have no idea when it's in a crowd of enemies, so you can run into the enemies, start comboing them, and immediately lose 90% of your life because it hits you with a spin attack. And if I were to tell you that it's not cool, I would be underselling how much of a douche this enemy is. But here we are, finally outside on the Bastion. This is one of the more annoying points because there's a ton of flying enemies and you have to kill them before you can touch the elevators. And if you go off the edge here, you're going to be all the way back in the water area that we were in before we got to the open doorway, which is super unnecessary. But just beat up on the wyverns. There's only about 2 to 3 of them in this encounter, and your team are pretty good. They're giving us, what was that, 65 experience per pop, so that's not too bad. They signpost a lot of their attacks, and that is a really good strategy that you just saw. Any enemy that flies or is super evasive, just use stop on them. It might take 2 MP to use, which can seem wasteful at times, but it's going to save your sanity from chasing those just annoying enemies. But once that's done, hit the sign, it's going to bring the lift to you, and then you can either go on the one to my left that's going to take you to progression in the level, or go on the one I just activated that'll help you get some chests. And if I'm honest, I don't really know why I'm getting the chests. And this is probably at the point where I'm still not concerned about the Speedster Trophy because I wasn't trying to get it. It's just something that, you know, kind of happened and I noticed towards the last level of the game. Because as you can see, there's a chest over there next to the pillar, which I could grab with the use of the other elevator and the glide ability, but I'm not going to do it. Instead, we're going upwards into the fray. So this is another strange moment where we touch this, it teleports us onto this platform, and then this platform is going to ferry us across the way. But it wouldn't be Kingdom Hearts if there wasn't a mandatory fight with a ton of Heartless. So get ready for that, make sure you've got some items, everything's equipped, and the command bar is blue now, so you can go into your menu if you need to. But the platform's going to stop, and then the fight's going to begin. And it's wizards. So see if you can see the thing that I hate about this enemy. Oh, it's lightning attack as well. They do a lightning move where you can't hurt them because they're in iframe animation mode, and it hurts you the more you try to initiate against them, so you want to get away. There it is. Invincibility as he teleports. That's the lightning move where you can't hurt them. You might be able to hit them with magic and damage them, but physical attacks do nothing when he's doing that, and he spams it like a bitch. So, ooh, commands help as well. So strike raid and things like that will damage him when he's in that mode, just not the standard attacks because they deflect them. But get used to fighting that enemy because he's all around this place. He's such a pain in the ass and a waste of time. Kingdom Hearts 3, we've already had gameplay. We've had 2 bits of gameplay now. They've told us it's going to be ready when it's ready. Everybody's theorizing it's 2014. That sounds pretty good to me. It's going to be on the new consoles, and I can honestly say that I'm really excited for that game, and it's probably a game that would make me buy a new console. And as it stands, it's the only game that's made me feel that way, which is pretty cool for me. You know, before today, the new consoles, I'm excited for them, but there's nothing pushing me to buy them. Aside from, you know, maybe it'll help my YouTube channel. Which is a pretty lame reason, I think, because as much as I do enjoy doing YouTube, and I'm really grateful when I get, you know, new supporters and people that enjoy the channel, doing something specifically for YouTube it's not cool. Unless it's your job, and then it's perfect, it's fine. But, you know, just doing it for the sake of it, to me, just it seems like you're missing the enjoyment of doing it. And especially something that's 400 quid's worth of investment, or sometimes more, because isn't it 500 quid for the Xbox One? Which, Jesus. The bundles as well, every bundle involves FIFA. Like, who the fuck cares about FIFA anymore? There's a very specific type of player who wants to play FIFA, and he's already pre-ordered it, you know? He's already playing it. Like, he's got the demo and he's just scrimming constantly on the 4-minute game you get to play. That's your average FIFA player. And that's not me knocking the games, guys. That's just me saying that I lost my passion for football, and thus I don't want to play football games anymore. And it can happen to anybody, because I was as deep as I am in Kingdom Hearts as I was with football many years ago. Like, a lot of people notice me make football references, and they're like, whoa, Chris making a football reference? Like, all my football references come from over 10 years ago, when I was in love with the beautiful game. And for any American people here, I'm not talking about your football, I'm talking about soccer. But a couple of dark balls, couple of wizards. Look at how fast that fire spell he does is. He flicks his wrist and you've already been hit. But there's a defender and some standard Heartless. I pop a quick heal. The best way to fight this guy is to get behind him, but once you hit him with a combo, he's either going to spin around or he's going to do a specific attack with his shield. I really like that enemy. I think it's well designed. It's such a cool idea of having this creature on his shield and hiding behind it. Like, I think the only way that could be better is if the shield was in fact his face. So he was holding his face in front of him, which would be quite funny. But just be aware of your HP and how much damage these enemies are doing, because it's a step up in competition. You know, this is the second to last world. It's going to get tougher. It's just the sheer progression of the game. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. It looks fluid. It looks fast. It looks great frame rate, great visuals. It almost looks surreal in how smooth it looks, because it looks so damn good. And I want them to just go balls to the wall and make it so different and so, you know, just so new. I want it to be fresh. I want to be blown away. And from that demo alone of what they've shown of the command styles that look ridiculous, man. He's sitting on this. If you've not seen the video, I've covered it on my channel. But he's sitting on a pirate ship that's completely made of Christmas lights or something like that. It's like a spectral pirate ship. And he's essentially surfing it back and forth, and as he's doing so, it's attacking, and it's doing like revolutions and hitting enemies, and I have no idea what is happening. But it looks beautiful, and shit's dying. And then the other sequence shows him holding double pistols, like, you know, Disney laser guns or something, and he's shooting them. He's doing all sorts of crazy moves and skating about with them, which looks pretty cool. And then the final one is him riding a train, another really fancy looking train. And I can't quite tell if the train is attacking or if Sora is attacking off the top of it, because the camera is really ambitious and cinematic. But it looks fancy, and it looks almost like the command sequences from Kingdom Hearts 2, which were QuickTime events. But so far on this game, there's been no prompts on the screen because it's a trailer designed to be shown at a press conference, and it was in Japan. And I should really look into that conference, because I have no idea what else was there. Maybe Dark Souls 2 had a presence there. Maybe there's some Dark Souls 2 footage. But thank you for watching, guys, and you take care now.